Okay guys, so the next video I'm going to show you is importing the labor costing, and I'm going to show you how to update your labor costing with your general hourly rate, which can control all your labor. And then I'm also going to show you how to manage it better so that there's not millions of line items, but you as the builder don't lose sight of how you build your labor takeoffs. So I'm going to do the same process. Options, import from spreadsheet. This time I'm going to find my labor takeoff. So labor hours, do the same thing. Now the key about this is similar to how we've got block work. It's one SKU code for 200mm block, but it's repeated 3 or 4 times throughout the job. Same with timber. We're doing the same with labor hours, but what we've been able to do in WUNDERBUILD is actually change the name of the costing in each line item to a different task, but have the price book item that it references to always reference one code. And I'll show you why that is really cool. So you can import that. It's going to chuck all the categories down the bottom. So basically anything that starts with labor as a costing category here. So you can see how detailed and broken down these are. So when we go to site setup, we got unloading and setting up, pick up and delivery of site fencing, install site fencing, locating the site bin, yada yada yada. Now, the key thing with this is they all reference the in-house hourly rate item. So if you think about your team, you've probably got apprentice, qualified, and supervisor level. The idea of charging everyone out at one hourly rate is that idea of, like, you know, apprentice is going to be cheaper, but they're probably going to take longer. Supervisor is going to be quicker, but you're going to cost more. So finding somewhere in the middle is what your charge out rate is. So I come in here and go edit, and I go, all right, well, my charge out rate for my carpentry or my labor team is $75 an hour. Put that in, and go update. Go close. This has updated every labor line item in that whole secondary import because they all reference the one SKU code. So I've priced my whole labor in one hit. So that's really, really convenient to be able to do that. Then you can come in and if you wanted to change the hourly rates of certain line items, or you can always copy and change the rate from a certain item, things like that. But that's up to you guys. That's depending on how your company's set up and how many guys you have and what their rates are, things like that. Now, a bit like what we just talked about for doing quote requests with assemblies, we're going to do something similar with our labor. Because if we have a look at, you know, even the item we're looking at here, we've got 9 line items of labor line items. Now, this is great data for you as a builder to look at what you're allowing for each task, how many roughly days, you know, this is total man hours. So, you know, X amount of hours should equal, if there's 2 guys doing it, you halve it for the amount of people, things like that. But the problem with that is if you send all of these line items to a timesheet, it's going to be a painful exercise for you guys to have to try and timesheet. They just want to come in and do what they did for the one day and allocate the line items. So labor for wall frames is a great example. I'm going to come in here and I'm actually going to do the same process I did for the quote request, which was making assemblies. But this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to base it on items I'm going to do to make up that day or that task group. So I'm going to go unload, setup, mark out studs, cut and prep, create assembly, and I'm going to call this wall frame labor setup. Going to be 1. And then I'm going to go building the wall frames at their certain heights. Wall frame labor build frames. It's just typical inside matches the same thing. 1. And then the last one is my bracing and rim plates. Bracing and rim plates. Keeps up. waking up. Those, create assembly from that. And it's going to be one quantity of those again. So again, now I can go through and delete these single items because I don't need them anymore, because what I've basically done is combined all of these line items into 3 items. So now what I've got is I've still got the dollar value for my labor budget for this category, the same amount, which is great. But again, like we looked at the quote request assembly, I've only got 3 line items that I need to make timesheet items to allocate timesheet hours against. But as a builder or project manager, I've still got the ability to drop down and see how I built these. So when I'm reviewing the job or I'm reviewing the timesheets against the allocations, I can actually still see how many hours I allocated to each section to be able to build that budget. So again, that is a really cool way to be able to do that. Now, it can get a little frustrating having to do this on a job-by-job basis. The benefit of doing it on a job-by-job is you can build your scope. So if you know that actually, this is a renovation, so we're only going to do this part first and this part second, it makes it good idea to do that. But one of the things we are working with WUNDERBUILD on is to be able to pre-assembly these items when they come into the takeoff for you. So they're already grouped, so it's less of that admin building it up in the quote stage. So yeah, so guys, that's just 3 little videos that show you some tips on how to get stuck in, how to be building your pricing, how easy it is to build it across, and how to be able to use the model to do it similarly, and also how to do this from a labor point of view. So cheers.